If you don't wanna see me, show me the heavens right here, baby. Common love isn't for us.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? My name is Brendan Reviews, and we are doing something different today. Today, I'm gonna start off a little series that I have been wanting to do, I have been talking about for a long time, and I finally decided I'm gonna do it just because, you know what? I wanna do it. I wanna do this, I wanna talk about these. And guys, welcome to this series called My Record Collection. And guys, for the first episode, I wanted to talk about a little album that came out now about 2 years ago and is probably one of the most heard albums of the past few years. It has been non-stop playing on the radio. You cannot hear enough of it, and that is Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia. Genuinely, I absolutely love this record. I think this record is absolutely fantastic from first song all the way to the ending song. I absolutely love just about every song on this album. I mean, let's just start it off. So the album starts off with Future Nostalgia, the actual song, and I like how the song is supposed to be about taking these old techniques, these old sounds, and doing something futuristic with it. So that's where the title Future Nostalgia comes around. Dua Lipa presents herself as this big time female, this alpha dog, this alpha female that literally is telling the audience that she can't tell your man how to wear his pants. It's kind of like this really funny tongue-in-cheek, like snarky hit to the audience's face, especially if you're a guy, because this is definitely got moments of like female empowerment on this record, and I genuinely love it. I think this is a fantastic opener. It sets the stage really well. It's got these really good punches to them. It's got these good lines. The lyrical content on the song alone is really good as well, and it definitely helps to set the standard for the rest of the record. Moving into
If you don't wanna see me,
Don't Start Now, which has one of the best bass lines, or most memorable bass lines, of the past 5 years. Genuinely, this song was played everywhere and could not go away. It did not go away for a long time. It is a great song. Don't Start Now is, of course, a follow-up, at least in tone, to New Rules, which came off of Dua Lipa's last record, and I personally think that this does a really good job of following up New Rules as like almost like the next chapter in that story or whatever, basically telling her ex-lover, don't start caring now because I've already moved on. I'm here dancing with other men in the club. I'm here moving on from you. I'm falling in love with other people. I'm living my best life without you. So don't start caring now. And I think that is a really good like tone. I think that tone matches absolutely perfectly with New Rules, and which that song with its wonderful bass line leads perfectly into
got me losing all my cool, 'cause I'm burning up for you.
Cool, which I think has some of the best wordplay out of the entire record. I really like the lyrical content on it. Basically, the chorus is describing all these different ways of, becoming cool. Got me losing all my cool, I'm burning it up on you, almost like she won't need any pill, almost like a fever, and she's losing all of her cool. You get the idea? Got it, right? And obviously this idea of losing cool brings us into the pulse-pounding and fast-paced
Let's get
Physical. I absolutely love this song. I think this plus the next song and maybe Love Again are probably my favorite songs off of this record. Physical has one of the best synth lines I've heard in a pop song in a long time. It is incredibly catchy. And then in the background you got that, which I think syncs up really well with it. I love her voice in it. I love the pulse pounding chorus that goes, come on, come on, come on, let's get physical. I really like that. The music video alone for this is actually really good too. The song really does a good job of being energetic, getting lively. I'm a bit surprised it didn't get as much replayability as some of the songs did on this record, but I am definitely happy that the next song got as much playability as it did. It carries that energy perfectly onto Levitating. Levitating is one of the catchiest songs of the past 2 years. It has this incredibly catchy melody to it, this incredibly catchy flow. It's super fast paced and up energetic. You could definitely see this being at a whole bunch of parties from now on. You could see this at being at clubs. You could see this being at parties, whatever, right? You could see this being everywhere. This song is such a feel-good song about Dua Lipa, possibly falling in love again and starting to feel like a little bit emotionally connected to this lover. She's literally feeling levitated. She's feeling like she's levitating out of her body and transcending into the stars because of how far she might be falling for this person. Genuinely, another really good track. Moving on to
Put my mind at ease.
Pretty Please. I really, really like the bass line in this. Pretty Please. I really like that. It's also a really good highlight on this album too. It's slower and it's not as energetic as the past few tracks have been, but it definitely helps to cement its founding and shows the versatility of the record itself. Moving on into Hallucinate, which, as far as all the other songs go, this is one of my more least favorite songs, but that's not to say it's a bad song because it's still a really good track. I think that this song is still really good, basically saying how she's breathing in this lover. She's literally falling into him so hard that she feels high. She's hallucinating. He's a drug to her. She can't get enough of him, basically. And it's this great, simile between a drug and a lover, and I know you see a lot of that done in records nowadays. You see that all done. Even that's been done since the 60s, talking about drugs and comparing them to lovers. But genuinely, I just like the idea of how simple it is that she just being around him, his aroma, maybe if it was getting too literal, maybe even a scent like a cologne or whatever, just literally she's getting high off of him because of how much she enjoys being around this guy, how much she's falling so hard for him. And then that brings us into Love Again, which, as I said, this is probably a top 3 song for me. I really like that violin, that string intro that then goes into the and it then gets better from there. It picks up. It's got this really nice drum beat to it. The bass line's good, and of course, I really like Dua Lipa's vocals on this one too. It's a simple song about feels like she is in love again, and she's basically trying to find a way to embrace it and understand that it's a good thing to be in love, to have emotions, to be emotionally connected to somebody. And once again, it's another highlight on this record, and I can't stress that enough, that this record is filled with highlights in a ton of good songs that honestly, for just an 11-song album, is freaking fantastic. Now, moving on to the other bassline song from this record that got played a ton. Break My Heart. Now, I do think that this song is good. I won't say that it's a bad song. I just think it got overplayed. I'm right now sick of hearing that song, but it is still a good song. The bass line is good, and of course, the lyrical content is, of course, Dua Lipa basically saying, listen, I'm in love with you. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin my trust. I'm afraid that you could be the one that could break my heart. The song manages to, stick with you really well, just in terms of the message of it, and of course, it's catchy as shit, and the bass line is great as well. It's just an overall really well produced song, even though it was fucking overplayed for me. But moving on to Good in Bed, which I mean, I really like this song, but my God, is it fucking raunchy. It is really raunchy. There's one line in particular, if anybody doesn't believe me when I say that the song is raunchy because they haven't heard it, I got one line to tell you. All that good pipe in the moonlight. And when I first heard that, I went, oh my, okay. And then it talks about later on about how when he's going down, she gets so up. This song basically shows that with Break My Heart, she lends her heart to this guy in the hopes that it will work out, but Good in Bed reveals that no, it's not as good as she thinks. Basically, there's a lot of anger, they completely dysfunctional, fucking hate each other, but there's one thing that they're good at, and that is good at being in bed. They are both good in bed, they absolutely love having sex with each other, and I mean, what the hell else did you expect the title to be about? But of course, not all good things last forever, and yes, the good in bed is eventually no more time in bed.
Boys will be, boys will be, boys will be, boys will be boys. But girls will be women.
Because the following song leads into this triumphant, basically, closer, this triumphant conclusion to the record, which doesn't really carry over the whole future nostalgia theme. It doesn't carry over the older sounds and doing something new with them. It's just basically like it's a more updated theme, which I think that might actually still tie into the theme just a little bit, and that is the beginning of it. This entire record, everything that came before it, is still in the past. It's still got those themes, it's still got the same kind of sounds, it's got the same touches of nostalgia while doing something new with them, whereas with this, it's totally embracing the new. It's embracing this message of female empowerment in that boys will be boys. That basically these women have just had it really rough due to some of the shit men have put them through. Like, there's a line in here about Dua Lipa saying she wished she would have stuck to ballet, but she didn't, and the lines about putting keys in between your knuckles, I get it. Like, that's something that me as a guy, I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about some guy coming around the corner and trying to harass me for maybe how I'm dressed or just simply being myself, right? I don't really have to worry about that too much. And I can empathize with the song in that aspect. But as far as tracks go, in terms of like the quality of the track compared to the rest, it is by far the worst track. And I don't mean that just because the sentiment is how boys will be boys and girls will be women. That's not at all. It's not like I hate the song because it's a men bashing song. I mean, I fucking love Man's World by Marina, for God's sakes, and that song is all about how men are terrible. It genuinely has nothing to do with the sentiment. It just has to do with the fact I'm not a big fan of basically the song structure itself. I think the song, at least some of the lyrics could have definitely been more, I don't know, at least been more seriously toned. I feel like some of it is just a little tone deaf. I feel like there's not a whole lot of metaphors to it. I feel like it's just as simple as it's literal, boys will be boys and women will be women. And in that sense, it's not my favorite song on this entire record. I do think that the record closes a lot worse than it started. It starts off fantastically, but the record definitely does close a lot worse than the rest of it. But genuinely, as far as Boys Will Be Boys go, it's not a bad song. It just isn't one that I'm going to continue to come back to listen. So as far as that goes, I mean, genuinely, pretty much every song on this record I really, really like, or I absolutely love. I think all of them are decent to good songs. Just one song I'm not really that big a fan of, and I'm probably not going to come back to it all that often unless I'm finishing the entire record on like one listen. So guys, I absolutely love Future Nostalgia. I think it's a great record overall. Just misstep towards the end, but genuinely I think that the record is a great listen the whole way through. It is a great time for anybody who's trying to get into music, and just because the overall last song I'm not that big a fan of, I'm going to go ahead and give Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia a 9 out of 10. I think this is one of the best albums I've heard from the last like 5-10 years, at least in the past, at least pop records. Yes, this is one of the best ones yet. It sounds good the whole way through. It has great lyrical content, great production, and genuinely has some of the catchiest songs of the past half decade, and I can't recommend it enough. And yes, I did buy it on vinyl. That's why I liked it. Like, I liked it so much I bought it on vinyl. That's Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia. And guys, tell me if you guys want me to keep doing videos like this where I sit down and actually talk about like something different other than movies. And well guys, that's that. Well guys, my name is Brendan Reviews, and I hope you guys have a great day, evening, night, whatever the fuck time you guys are watching this, and I will see you all next time.
Subscribe to Brendan Reviews or else I'll come to your house and eat your kids.